Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Gathered by Choice Evidence 1983. Their tagline is "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." Original OP is Daniela K7238. Originally posted to r/advice. My boyfriend stole my necklace and gifted it to his sister. Originally posted September 27th, 2024. Serious advice needed because I am lost. I, female, have been with my boyfriend, I'll call him Adam, for almost a year now. I met him through my master's degree in the UK. When I was a sophomore in college, I had a long-term boyfriend who I'll call Kyle, who took his own life. We were together for 3 years, and I would never wish the pain of losing someone like that on my worst enemy. When we started college, Kyle gifted me a locket with the word "most" engraved on the back of it. It was our thing. It meant he loved me the most. Sappy, but it was ours. Since his passing, this has been my most valuable possession, and I do not go anywhere without it. It is my last piece of Kyle. After finishing my degree and struggling the entire time, I decided that I needed to get out of town where everything happened and decided to study my master's degree in the UK, which is where I met Adam. He is the first person I have allowed myself to love since losing Kyle, and I really have loved our relationship up until this. If it is true, I will never be able to forgive him. Adam has always been insecure of Kyle, asking hypothetical questions like, if Kyle was still alive, would I be with him? And what I prefer about him over Kyle, etc., etc. I usually dodge the questions and never give him an answer, as I don't condone these type of questions and I don't want to feed into it. We have also had to have several conversations regarding Adam talking badly about Kyle. He also dislikes if I post about Kyle on his birthday or death anniversary or have hard days. He sees this as that I don't love him and I'm still hung up on Kyle. No matter how many years that have passed and how much I love Adam, Kyle was my first and his life was cut short. He was also my best friend. I will mourn his life forever, even if I have moved on romantically. He knows how much this necklace from Kyle means to me, and how devastated I've been the last 2 weeks frantically searching our apartment for it. I took a shower one day and set the necklace in the same place I always do. When I came out of the shower, it was gone, and Adam swears he has no idea where it is, and it must have fallen somewhere and got lost. I have been beside myself, spent nights in tears over losing this. Adam has a sister who we will call Jane. Jane recently celebrated her 21st birthday. I am in her Snapchat private story where she posted the beautiful locket that her big brother got her for her special day. It was the same locket. I know it because it has the same engraving on the back. I don't know how Adam explained that one, but he must have somehow. Me and Jane are not particularly close, and this isn't something I feel I can just confront her about casually. I also feel silly bringing it up to Adam in case it isn't the same locket, and I'm just going insane looking for excuses because I was careless and lost it. I don't see where else Adam would have gotten this locket, as it was made for me by a small business back in the States. She was local to Kyle and I, and her work has always been my favorite. Advice on how to ask Adam about this: I know if I do, he'll deny it either way, but this locket means the world to me. I need it back. Thanks. Relevant comments. OP should reach out to Adam's sister and explain about the locket situation and break up with Adam. OP responds with, I don't intend to stay with my boyfriend, I just need to figure out a way to make sure I get the necklace back. OP on needing to end the relationship and move her things out. The relationship will definitely be done. It is just tricky. We share an apartment, his name is on the lease, as he's here from the UK and I'm an American. Working out the best way around it so I don't become homeless and trying to scrape together enough for a trip home for a while. Commenter. Can I ask, what are your thoughts on his red flag behaviors, being jealous of a person who died prematurely? It seems like it didn't occur to you that those are massive red flags before the necklace theft. I have noticed there are red flags. I guess I have just excused them as Adam is the first person I found myself having those feelings for again. Also, we share an apartment. He's the name on the lease because he's from the UK and I'm from the States. I'm also a student trying to scrape together enough money to go back home for a while. I know it's a stupid reason to stay in a disrespectful relationship, but this is a foreign country and I'm mostly alone here. Commenter 2. If he denies it, tell him to produce the receipt or bank statement from the purchase. If he claims he paid cash, ask him what jewelry store or site he bought it from. Reach out to them to see if they've ever sold something like that. Then, when he can't prove he bought it, Send photos of yourself wearing the locket to his sister and let her know that Adam stole it from you. If she knows about your late boyfriend, you can let her know that it's the last piece you have from him and you need it back. Hopefully she is a good person and returns it. He's competing with your late partner. Once you get your locket back, leave. Update, October 17th, 2024. Thanks everyone for all the advice. It's been almost 3 weeks since I posted, and I didn't plan to update, but I've seen a few comments asking for one. A day or two after the initial post, I confronted Adam about the locket. He claimed he didn't know what I was talking about, and he couldn't believe I could be as cold as to accuse him of this. When asked for receipts or any proof that the locket was not the same one as mine, he couldn't produce any and got angry and stormed out of our apartment. He came back that night, tried to gaslight me into believing that I was the one who created a problem out of nothing, and even that necklace he got his sister had no engraving whatsoever. Unlucky for him, I had contacted his mom while he was away, stated that I had misplaced my locket and was wondering if it had accidentally been taken home by Adam when he was visiting. She got back to me pretty quickly saying that she had found my necklace on her daughter Jane's present pile stacked away in a corner. She said that she would return the necklace to me as soon as possible and that herself or Jane must have mistaken it for one of her presents and put it back in the pile. She promised me that she would keep a hold of it in her room until she got the chance to return it. Immediately after I had confirmation that Adam's mom had the locket, I booked myself the cheapest flight home I could find and asked his mom for a lift to the airport. That way, she could return the necklace. She agreed, and after that I sat planning exactly how I would tell Adam that we were breaking up. I didn't need him to admit to stealing the necklace. The fact that I had enough doubt in my mind that I knew he had taken it was enough for me to know that this relationship was going nowhere. I just wanted my necklace back. I stayed with Adam until my flight, which was about a week ago. I let him and his mom drive me to the airport. I left a note breaking up with him, telling him that my friends would be by to pick up my stuff and move it between their flats. I took a leave of absence from uni until I work out where I'm going to stay when I get back to the UK, and have contacted my landlord about taking my name off the lease. When Adam's mom gave me back my necklace, his face was priceless. He looked like a deer in the headlights. He was so angry, but he couldn't show it in front of his mom. His sister Jane hasn't once questioned the missing necklace, and it's been around 2 weeks now. I doubt she will ever notice. She is rather spoiled. I'm glad to update that I'm safe. I'm back home with my necklace from Kyle. I am just home from visiting his grave, telling him this entire story and laughing about it. It reminded me that I should update and probably hold higher standards in men for myself. Thank you for your love and support. Top comments. Commenter 1. Wow, what a roller coaster. It sounds like you had to handle the situation with some serious finesse, confronting him, getting the necklace back, and breaking free, all while keeping your dignity intact. That's impressive. I can picture Adam's face when his mom handed back your necklace. Talk about a plot twist. It's like he thought he was playing chess, but you were playing 4D checkers. I'm so glad you're back home, and it's awesome that you took the time to visit Kyle's grave and share a laugh about it. Here's to higher standards and better men in your future. Okay, we've got quite a few things that I want to cover. First things first is, if you're in a relationship where your significant other had a previous significant other who had passed, don't compare yourself to them or try to ask them questions like what Adam did, because that is not a good way to do it. Yeah, there's going to be some insecurities of the fact of, well, shit, this relationship wouldn't happen if they hadn't passed. And yeah, that very well might be the case. And it's out of your control. But if you can't get past that, if you can't see yourself as being with that person because they previously had another significant other that tragically passed before their time, then you probably shouldn't be with that person. Because in the end, you got to keep in mind, they did still choose you. There's nothing to compare between you and the previous significant other. You are your own person, and if you spend that much time trying to compare yourself with the little nitty-gritty details of their previous love life, that's gonna drive you crazy, and it's gonna drive them crazy as well. And I very much do think that Adam tried to pawn the necklace off because he wanted to try to remove as much of Kyle's influence from OP's life as he possibly could. And that's pretty fucking gross. If I had a nickel for every time that we had a best of story that covered a lost piece of jewelry from a previously deceased significant other, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's interesting that it's happened twice. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983. Their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." Original OP is Traditional Tale 3068. Posted to True Off My Chest. Originally uploaded July 5th, 2024. I am leaving my boyfriend after he drunkenly confessed something to me last night. My boyfriend and I, both 29, have been together for 2 years now. Before that, we were both married and got cheated on by our spouses. We were introduced to each other through mutual friends and thought we would get along since we went through the same thing. I've told everyone us meeting that night was the greatest blessing because he came into my life at a very dark point in my life. In the past 2 years, we moved to a new town, started new jobs, and bought a house. I travel for work and he works 90 hours a week, so we both have no desire to have kids. I have a brother, 31 male, who's been with a woman since 2020. They were supposed to get married, but called it off in 2022. Since then, they've been on again, off again together, and really don't have a great relationship. That was until November when his girlfriend found out she was pregnant and they decided to get serious. They bought a house and have been going to couples therapy. Their relationship seems to be working out now since they had their baby. They decided to host a 4th of July party at their house. I attended with my boyfriend. I spent most that night helping with the cooking and helping my brother's girlfriend set up and watching my niece. Like every 4th of July party, there's people getting way too drunk and starting to act up. Once mostly everyone had left, my boyfriend and me, brother and his girlfriend, and a couple of friends were sitting by the fire and having a few drinks. My boyfriend had a few too many drinks and was starting to act drunk. He started telling random stories, and after a few random stories, he says, brother's girlfriend's name, "Hey, remember when we used to hook up last year?" My brother's girlfriend looks at him in shock, then starts apologizing to me. I just sat there in silence before leaving. And immediately after, I got texts from his girlfriend, my boyfriend, and brother, all trying to fix things and saying he didn't mean to tell me. His girlfriend texts me the story and says that they hooked up for a couple of months while I was working in another state and she was broken up with my brother. I haven't replied to anyone's texts. I just spent the morning packing all my stuff from the house and leaving with my car and the truck I bought for him. I already feel so much happier knowing what he did to me and now that he's gone. Top comments. Commenter 1. I'm so sorry, that's so fucked. Especially that even your brother didn't tell you. Have you talked to anyone since? Commenter 2. I would be going to North Carolina with my brother. We would have nothing to speak about going forward. Just knowing my boyfriend cheated on me with your girlfriend and everyone smiling in my face afterwards while I'm the only one who doesn't know, I just couldn't come back from it. Commenter 3. He cheated on you with your brother's girlfriend and they all knew and no one said anything. What the fuck? Why is your brother still with her and why didn't he tell you? And did your boyfriend apologize for cheating or just apologize for telling you because it seems like he only said sorry for letting it slip? Fuck them all. I would cut contact with all of them. Edit to add, are they sure the baby is your brother's? October 19th, 2024, 3 months later. Wow. Looking at my original post, I never expected it to blow up like it did. I honestly forgot I made this post until my own story came up on TikTok, lol. So here's my update. It took me a bit, but I have gone 100% no contact with my entire family and haven't heard from my ex-boyfriend since July. I sold our old house, left my job, sold his truck, and bought a house in my favorite town closer to my best friends. It was a much-needed step to heal and move on with life. I found a great job there and grew closer to all my friends, especially my college best friend Trey. I found myself venting to him all the time and him always being there if I needed someone. He's been my rock since the move, and I'm so extremely grateful for him. I finally made the move I think we've both been scared to make, and we're all telling our friends tomorrow that we're officially dating. We're going on our first triple date as a friend group tomorrow too. My life is so beautiful now that all the toxic people are gone and I'm in a happy place. Consider this my post reminding you all that it's okay to start over. I bet you'll bloom all over again and your life will be 10 times better. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Congrats! Any idea what the other people are up to? Nope. I don't keep up with them anymore and have everyone blocked. Commenter 2. I was just thinking about you yesterday. I'm so happy to hear you cut those people out of your life and you're doing so well. So I've actually been in a situation where I found out that pretty much everyone in my life knew that my significant other was seeing someone else and just kept that from me. And it fucking sucks to know that pretty much everyone in your life is very aware of this and just keeping it from you. Everyone is looking at you and they know this secret and they're just acting like nothing's going on. And then when you find out, you're the bad guy. It's pretty fucking shitty, not gonna lie. But those people have to live with their choices and it's not my problem anymore. I've met a lot better people since then and I'm a lot happier. This post is curated by Choice Evidence 1983. Their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is ArchieFem10, originally posted to Entitled People. This was actually one that I was going to record, but lucky me. Entitled Brother informed me that he would be taking my dog for 3 days without my permission. Originally posted April 15th, 2024. For those of you who aren't familiar with my stories, I, 31 female, have a man-child entitled brother, 26 male, who lives in the house I co-own with my mom. My mom has told me that he has until May 31st to move out. I've been anxiously waiting for him to leave, doing my best to bide my time, but I've finally reached my end of my rope, and for something that I'm not sure is the straw or the log that broke the camel's back. Last night while I was in bed, Entitled Bro informed me he would be taking my dog, Spot, for 3 days on some fishing trip. I told him there's no way he could do that. He said he wasn't asking. He was telling me. He said he's my dog too, and that he's entitled to take him whenever he pleases. Here's the thing though. 9 years ago, Entitled Brother demanded a dog. I begged my mom not to. He had one previously, but he neglected it, and my mom ended up rehoming it, for which he never let her hear the end of. But of course, she caved, and the same problem persisted. Entitled Bro never cared for Spot. I ended up taking over his care, paid for his vet bills, fed him, took him to get groomed, etc. Things came to a head when he had to move in with family members, and they said we were not allowed to bring a dog. Entitled Bro didn't do anything to find Spot a new home. It was my problem. I found him a foster home where I visited him every day after my college classes ended, and was able to get him back 2 years later when we finally had a place to live again. Additionally, when I moved out of my house for a year, Spot went with me. Spot sleeps with me every night and has my name on all of his records. Now he's 10 and has arthritis. He takes meds for his hips and his stomach and needs frequent bathroom breaks. Oh, and he hates the water. So when little bro said he wasn't asking me, he was telling me, I knew that Spot would be miserable and possibly in pain that whole trip. He hadn't asked or even mentioned taking Spot before, so he is due for a refill on his pills tomorrow. Had I known, I would have gotten the refill sooner. I tried telling him Spot needs a lot of care, and he said, "Yeah, so just give me everything he needs." And I was so irritated. You wait until the night before to tell me this. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. I could have just taken him and let you panic, but I was being nice, telling you ahead of time. That did it. I don't know why, but every alarm bell went off in my head. I grabbed my purse, put on my slippers, and told Spot to get in the car. I drove to my fiance's house and slept here last night. I was going to move into fiance's house this summer, but now I'm asking myself, why the hell am I waiting? Everyone on Reddit keeps asking me why I stay home, and right now, I can't remember any of the reasons I had before. I'm done. My mom is staying out of it right now, and I'm glad because I genuinely don't care what she has to say. I know she doesn't want me to go, but I just can't take Entitled Bro's little power trips. He can do whatever he wants to the house, punching holes in the walls, kicking the appliances, calling the house a dump, but I draw the line at him taking my dog without my permission. That's my baby, and I'm not going to just stand by while he does whatever he wants with my pet when I explicitly told him no, something that he rarely hears. P.S. I occasionally have asked Bro to let Spot out for bathroom breaks since he doesn't work until the afternoon, and his response is always he's too busy to do that. He has given me no reason to trust him to care for my dog for even a few hours, let alone 3 days on a fishing trip. Edit, brother does not know where fiancé lives, and even if he did, fiancé's 2 huge German shepherds would devour him. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. So happy you got Spot out of there. Hopefully, asshole brother doesn't try to snatch Spot while you and your fiancé are out. I'm not trying to be an alarmist, but bro sounds unhinged and entitled. Maybe even ask a friend or tempt doggy daycare for a few days. OP responds, thankfully he doesn't know where fiancé lives. Fiancé also has 2 big German shepherds, so I doubt he could get Spot out of the yard/house without getting mauled. Commenter 2. How is your brother's reaction? Gets the popcorn. OP responds, a barrage of text telling me what a monster I am. The best part is he claims he paid extra expenses for Spot to stay at the Airbnb, but I spoke to his dad a few weeks ago, and his dad claimed little bro wasn't paying for anything on the trip, since little bro claims he has no money. I told him I'd be happy to pay him back for Spot, and told him to simply show me a receipt, since that was his favorite thing to tell my mom whenever she would ask for his portion of the bills. To clarify, bro and his dad mentioned they would be going on a trip but never once mentioned they would take Spot. I found that out literally a few hours ago. Opie responds on her mother pushing back the dates for her brother to move out. It's funny because I've been meaning to post an update on the last post. My mom had originally said May 31st when they made their agreement for him to stop paying bills so he could save money. When she exploded him a few weeks ago, she said 3 weeks to him, but privately told me she would stick to the May 31st date because that's what they originally agreed on. She did remove him from the insurance, and for that, I was so relieved because now we have zero need to interact with him. My mom was slowly cutting ties with him, so once he left, she wouldn't have any connection to him. She's still set on that, but I will admit she has to take baby steps. This is very new for her. She's always enabled him, but I know it's because her instinct is to care for her son, especially since he's the helpless one. But after that huge fight they had, I think she finally sees what I see, and she understands why I can't live like this anymore. Update, October 16th, 2024, 6 months later. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for all of their support, well wishes, and for reaching out to check on me and Spot. It was such a relief to know that so many of you would have had the same instinctual reaction to my situation. After many months, I finally have an update for you all. 1. Entitled brother has finally moved out. However, he didn't move out until the end of July. He was supposed to move out by May 31st, but my mother allowed him to push the date back twice. I was not pleased, but since I moved out abruptly in April, I couldn't let myself get worked up over it. I was focusing on making a safe space for Spot and myself. 2. Since entitled brother has moved out, my mother has made the house her own, and I'm proud to say it is finally everything she envisioned it to be. The house looks immaculate now that entitled brother isn't crowding her space. She's very proud of all her home improvement projects and always has something new that she wants to show me when I visit. She seems so happy. The only thing that concerns me is how uncharacteristically friendly entitled brother has been acting with her since he moved out. More on that later. 3. Spot is doing so much better since we went to live with my fiancé and his 2 German Shepherds. I think fiancé's dogs understood that Spot is older and not quite as athletic as them, but that didn't stop him from trying to keep up with them. After moving in, Spot's favorite pastimes include running around the huge yard, laying in the sun, and eating the little tasty nuggets that the chickens leave in the yard. Yes, I mean the chicken poop. 4. If you've read this far and are wondering what took me so long to update, I apologize for the delay, but I have a good reason. My fiancé and I bought our first home. We fell in love with a tiny little house in our ideal area and had been working on renovating it. I'm very pleased to announce that we moved in last month. And if that wasn't good enough news for you, here is the biggest announcement of all. We got married! After all the hard work we put into the house, we knew it was the perfect place for us to tie the knot. We invited his dad, siblings, and my mom over, and we had a quick ceremony in our living room amongst the unpacked boxes and mixed-match furniture. It was perfect. But this wouldn't be an entitled people post without some entitled brother stories. Here are some of the highlights, for lack of better term, of what I've dealt with since my last post. For the 3 to 4 weeks after I moved out, entitled brother would not stop asking, "Where's Spot? Where's my dog?" over and over. I just ignored him, but while I was silent, he said a lot of very revealing things such as, "I bet you won't bring Spot back because you're afraid I'll do the same thing to you," meaning taking off with Spot. I wanted to point out the whole reason I felt the need to remove Spot was because he threatened to take my dog without my permission, but I didn't waste my breath. At one point, he got so worked up that he said, "Fine, don't tell me where Spot is, I'll find out," which only solidified my confidence that I made the right choice. Another thing that happened was a couple months ago, he had information that I needed in order to help our aunt with a task. My aunt asked him to please send me the info so I could complete the task for her. He said he would, but never sent me anything, despite how many times she reminded him. It got to the point where the deadline was getting close, so I had to call and text him multiple times. He refused to give me anything, saying I needed to apologize for being so rude, because I had the audacity to ask him for the info. I decided to act fed up and told him, "Forget it, someone else can do it." I then asked my cousin Molly to text him, saying that she was the one to contact instead. He sent the info to her instantly, and I had Molly forward the info to me. The look on his face when he later found out I was the one who took care of everything for my aunt was priceless. He enjoys having things to hold over my head. The final thing I will mention is entitled bro was a nightmare for my mother until the day he moved out. He went through waves of giving my mom the silent treatment, then angrily hounding her for ruining his life, to having personal pity parties and saying things like he was so depressed and didn't want to live anymore. My mom got so fed up that by his moving out day, she had no pity for him anymore, just secondhand embarrassment. But then he did something very strange. He was literally in the middle of yelling at her and blaming her for all of his shortcomings when he suddenly broke down and cried, saying he was sorry for what he put her through. All he wants is to be loved by his mom and sister, and asked, "What would you do if I killed myself?" My mom said she thought it was a miracle from God, and I tried to gently ask her if it wasn't more likely that it was just a manipulation tactic. She said she's choosing to believe that this is a sign that her son is finally changing for the better. I find it very hard to believe. So now he acts as if he was never the hellspawn that plagued our home for 8 years. And my mom is so happy because she thinks that now her son is reformed. I think it's more likely that he's just trying to stay in her good graces because he wants to use her as a safety net. My mom claims she would never take him back in unless it was a true emergency, but I don't know about that. That is the only thing about entitled bro that makes me uneasy to this day. Other than that, I have no interest in dealing with him and will not be including him in anything. He does not have my address and my relatives know not to share it with him. Although I have had to deal with a lot of drama these past few months, I'm so relieved that I left that tumultuous home life when I did. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have a safe place for myself or Spot. I wouldn't finally have a home of my own with someone who loves me completely, and I wouldn't have married the sweetest, most supportive man I've ever met. I'm so grateful to be able to write this happy update on my couch in my home with my husband at my side and my sweet Spot laying his head in my lap. Thank you again for being here for me and waiting so patiently for an update. I hope it was worth the wait. Thank you. Signed, Archie. Relevant comments. Did the brother move in with his girlfriend or somewhere else? Well, his original move-out plan was to move in with his then-girlfriend. She was a sweetheart, and my mom and I honestly thought she deserved better. She went out of her way to make room for him at her place, but he never really made an effort to start packing or moving. She saw which way the wind was blowing and broke up with him. As much as I adore her, I was happy to see she was advocating for herself and wouldn't take his wishy-washiness. After that, he had no motivation to move out until his living situation got so toxic for him. Since he can't afford anything on his own, he lives in a 4-bedroom rental with 3 roommates on the opposite side of town from myself and my mom. From what I hear through the grapevine, he's now seeing how much greener the grass is at my mom's house. So far, she stood firm with him and has not given him any reason to hope to move back in with her. Commenter 1, congratulations on the marriage and the new house. OP responds, thank you very much, we're very happy, and since moving into our home, we really have started to understand what it's like to have a place where we're the sole focus of the household. OP on keeping her current location a secret from her brother. Unfortunately, I know my address won't stay a secret forever, but there are 2 things that I think will keep him from pulling anything now. My mother's wrath and the court of public opinion, as well as just the regular courts, your name's in the paperwork for the dog. He didn't come off as the good guy when he pulled that stunt with my aunt, and since I had to enlist the help of other family members, he's been getting a lot of heat from everyone. OP on her brother being entitled. I don't disagree with you. To add some context, his technically our dad is the one who raised him to be entitled. When our parents divorced, he was in 2nd, maybe 3rd grade, and by that point, entitled bro learned quickly how to play one parent against the other to get what he wanted. My mom fought his entitlement and bad attitude all the way through high school, but by the time that he was 18, she just caved. He was too much. Since then, she's mostly left him alone. Of course, he only got worse and seemed to believe he was the authority in my home. I didn't let it go. But my mom, who was so done with everything by then, asked me to leave him alone because he'll be out soon anyway. As we all know, that didn't happen. It took him 7 years to leave. I think she hit her breaking point by year 6, and you're right, she will have to lay in the bed she made. I refuse to include her son in my life anymore. There was definitely a lot more to this post than I expected there to be. When I first encountered this, I'm gonna be honest, skimmed through it and thought, oh, this could be perfect, and did not realize there was an entire saga going on with OP's entire, well, family pretty much. Maybe in the future I'll try to revisit past stories, but oh boy, is there definitely a lot to look at. But thankfully, it seems that things have worked out in OP's favor, and honestly, I'm curious what you all think. Have y'all ever had to deal with a family member that was, well, like this, that kind of just grew into an entitled monster and I mean, hell, was it a sibling, a child, a parent? I mean, I'm curious. I like reading through comments and seeing what y'all have to say and your own little individual stories and tidbits to add. I'd also be curious how you all would feel in a situation where one of your family members just simply said they were taking your pet from you for a couple days without any ample warning or notice. I mean, hell, I know I definitely wouldn't be fucking happy. Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code Oz at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.